right, Chris is out, and it's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to begin. I'm going to press the record button. I can figure out how to... Oh, it's already recording. Okay, so we will just chop off the first 15 minutes of this. But this is on getting over the mental breaks in your business with FBA. There's a lot of things that'll come up, a lot of mental issues that people have, and I'm going to go over some of the ones that I've noticed, how to get over them. We can have questions and answers, and we can have a discussion and all that, and hopefully we'll get some more people in here, because it's kind of sad. Unless it's only showing me a partial list, it looks like there's like 8 or 9 people. But with FBA, there's just a lot of mental things that I see. I've seen them in other people, I've seen them in myself, and one of the biggest ones is procrastination. People procrastinate with their sourcing, with their shipping, and it ultimately can kill a business. It can, just like it killed me in college when I procrastinated on papers, kind of like what Chris has done here, except Chris is actually finishing his, unlike some of mine that never got finished and I failed. But when you procrastinate with your sourcing, there's no way for you to get inventory that doesn't exist to Amazon. But when you do buy it and you procrastinate on shipping, when inventory sits around, it doesn't do you any good. It clutters your house, makes people be like, hey, your house looks like a mess, and then you don't get paid for it. So you need to get stuff shipped to Amazon on a timely basis. For some people, it might be once a week, depending on. For me, I'm trying to get boxes out of my house at least every other day. It all depends on the amount of inventory that you currently have. If you're sending in 100 things a week, on average, it wouldn't make sense to do it every other day. That's like 30, 40 things, which might not even fill an entire box. Or for me, I'm sending out a couple hundred a week. I'm going to turn Facebook off. Facebook should be turned off now, so we don't have dings all over the place. But what I found is when I ship every other day, I have inventory that's being scanned in on a pretty much daily basis. So I always have more new stuff to sell. Another thing I've noticed, that I found will help me a bunch to get over things is I like to set goals.
No, you have to sign the guard to like a book.
I'm going to mute everyone. Yeah, I think I muted everyone now, so we don't have any of that. But what I found is that if you set goals, a lot of problems seem smaller. For example, one problem that I have is I'm really, really forgetful. And when I set goals with things and actually write them down, I'm less likely to forget things. I have lists for a bunch of different things. I have a list for things that I need to buy, things that I need to sell, things that I need to do, and then dreams or goals. And whenever you write what I do is whenever I write something down on the list, I put the date that I put it on the list, and then when it happens, I write down that it happened. If I need to go buy more bubble wrap, I'll write down 5 bubble wrap. I'll cross it out and date it when I do it. And some of these things are just short-term, like bubble wrap, but others are long-term, like the fact that I want to be a millionaire by the age of 30 and own a home by the time I'm 25. Some things are short-term, some things are long-term. And when I'm writing these things down, I don't forget, because all the time I'll be like, oh, I'll do that. I don't write it down, and then I realize a month has gone by, and I haven't done something that I should have done. Right now, I have a massive list. I don't have any idea how many things are on it, things to do, ranging from ungating to cleaning the stuff off my table that you can't see right behind the camera because it's a massive mess. But when you write down your goals and write down things to do, you're more likely to do them, and you can hold yourself accountable. Another thing I see with people, and I found it myself, is people have doubts. Doubt is one of the biggest things that I've seen with FBA, where I'll see people posting, is this a good deal? They don't know if it's a good deal. They don't know what decisions to make, whether to buy or not to buy, whether to invest in this software or not invest in this software. And when you're doubting with things like that, the best thing that you can do is get advice from other people. not just completely random people, but find or create a network of people that you can rely on for advice. I have probably 5 or 6 people that if I ever have an issue, depending on what it is, I can always go to 1 or 2 of the people and I'll get help. For example, I don't know much about sourcing with clothing and shoes and things like that. So if I have questions, I have a couple people that I can message about it. If I need advice on selling something on eBay, I know a guy that is a complete whiz with eBay, and he even runs a group about it. If I need eBay help, I go to him. If I need technical help or advice, I have a friend that works IT and another guy that does web development, and they're awesome when I need technical resources. So when you have doubts, what's the best way to put it? When you have a doubt, just find people that can help you make a decision, because inaction is just horrible, just like the procrastination. It doesn't help you. And another thing that I'll see is people that are scared of things. And it's okay to be a little scared with FBA when you make a decision. A couple weeks ago, I bought some stuff. And it was about a month ago. I bought a bunch of T-shirts. I only spent like $1 a unit, but I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what the ranks meant. I thought I muted everyone. Okay. Maybe the person joined in. But I bought a bunch of clothing. I didn't know what the ranks meant. But the units were only $1 each, selling for between $12 and $20. It was just a complete random gamble that I took. And I found that as soon as I got everything polybagged and shipped, well, actually I just got half of it polybagged and shipped right away. And I sold 15 shirts, and everything else was paid for, and I got like a cart of T-shirts. I was a little scared because I didn't know anything about the category. I just took a lead. But if you're too comfortable though in your business, you're not pushing yourself, and you're inhibiting growth. When I moved from Alaska, I was a little scared. I don't have much of a safety net here in Wisconsin. If my account gets shut down, I don't know what I'm going to do. But that little bit of fear acts as a drive for me to do awesome, for me to continue and to do well with things. If you're too comfortable, you need to get outside of your comfort zone and, try sourcing new things, try sourcing more things. Think big or bigger. See, let me look at my other list. Another thing that I've seen a lot, and it's been a really personal thing to me, is just dealing with stress. In this business, there's a lot of stress. I do FBA full time. I mean, a lot of you probably don't. A lot of you may do it on weekends or evenings and whatnot. And when you combine working with FBA and your personal job and all that, stress can really get to you, and it's just not healthy. But I found that there's some stuff that really works. Just taking a break will help. Last Friday and Saturday, I didn't do anything with FBA. I told myself, I'm not going to ship anything. I'm not going to source anything. All I'm going to do is adjust prices a couple times, and that is it. Because in the 7 days before those 2 days, I had worked like 60 or 70 hours, and I was just tired of FBA and stressed out from it. That and some of the drama that went on. And one of the other admins of FBA Master, Mike, actually sent me a message, and he's like, "Hey, Tyler, you're seeming a little stressed. Have you been working out or doing any exercise?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." But the next day, I went for a walk, and I've just been trying to be active, and that's one thing that I found really helps. Get outside, be active, and now that it's getting to be summer, another thing that's not really related to any of this, but stay hydrated. Being dehydrated is silly. But yeah, I was really glad that Mike, he's like, "Hey dude, you need to take care of yourself. You need to be exercising. It would help with stress." And I've been trying to walk or just do something active, whether it's running up and down the stairs a bunch of times, ever since that, and I feel so much lighter, both physically and mentally. With that, if you're focusing too much on work and not taking time off and taking time to actually take care of yourself, you can get stress really adds up. I realized I went through the outline of stuff I had. I had a bunch of this and this. I went through my outline faster than I thought I would, but let's see if there's any chat that's been brought up. Can everyone hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Good. Because I heard someone say that they can't hear me or something. Or is it? Oh, someone said it just. Everyone can hear me. Good. Because I'd feel really silly if I had been talking for 10 minutes and no one could hear me. That would make me feel really silly. But I went through that quicker than I thought I would. It sounded bigger in my head. Does anyone have any questions? We could have a discussion about this stuff. Whatever you folks want to do. Oh, we do not have a lot of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have like 14 people in here. What about paperwork? Randy, I can unmute you if you want. You are unmuted, Randy.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Hey, I guess mine's more or less to deal with sort of the frustration I had today. One of the things as part of this multi-stream of income that I'm being trained to focus on, retail arbitrage is one of them. And I've been, hand at that and going out and trying different things. And so I've got about 3 boxes on this. Actually, 2 of them have arrived at Amazon already. They're already been checked in, so that's exciting.
Oh yeah.
But today I went out and I basically went to 4 different stores and I basically striked out, and it was very frustrating. And one of the things so that's sort of the part A there is, what would you recommend to overcome these humps of, going out and doing the grind and not pulling up anything after 4 hours of work and then going, hey, I am eventually going to get to a point in it, I've got a 6 months to a year goal to be doing, putting in my resignation. At my job, and RA is supposed to be one of those quick flip, go out, you make some quick cash, and today I didn't experience that at all. And matter of fact, the last weekend or on Saturday, I went out. I got some things that like 4 cases of sunflower butter crunchy style, but which apparently is doing well, but online, so we'll get that sent. But so that was part A, is the frustration of it, and part B is more or less to deal with what seems to be an insane FBA fees on some certain items. I was ungated in grocery, and just different things that I was scanning that were coming up as like this one thing I was scanning was like one of those disposable cups that you can bury into the ground, and you add water to it, and the seed, you add a seed to it, and some dirt and stuff, and it grows. It was $1, and it was selling for I can't remember. It was almost $10 on Amazon. But by the time you hit the next screen, Amazon had wanted like $6 or $7 of that, and it was like, that's absolutely absurd. Mm-hmm. It left the profit margin of, I think when I was looking at it, it was like $1.82 or 82 cents profit or something like that. So I don't know if my seller app is broke, but that's very frustrating. I mean, and this was happening over and over and over on different items. It was way more than the 12% or 15% or whatever. It looked to be, on certain items, it looked to be more like 60% FBA fees.
Yeah, did you get your start with merchant fulfillment?
What's that?
Did you get started with merchant fulfillment before you were doing FBA? Because that's what I did. And when I switched over to FBA, I was kind of outraged by the fees. But
No, I just jumped in FBA full. I just jumped in it straight up. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, you do have to pay the 8 or 12 or 15 or whatnot %. But then there's also the inbound shipping. Yeah, in your app, I'd recommend setting like 50 cents a pound. For me, it's kind of conservative, given that I can ship an 18 by 18 by 24 inch box to Jordan, Illinois for like $8. But I just use 50 cents per pound is just a rough benchmark. So you have to pay that. You have to pay inbound shipping. You have to pay the weight-based fee when it does ship, which that's where it kills you with the heavy things. And also you have to pay the pick and pack, which is $1 or something like that. And it can add up with those items. But with items under $10, I like to keep them small and light. Things like video games or cell phone cases. Things
they were super light. They were super light, but it seemed like it was way more than 15% or whatever. And by the time the FBA fees were done, there was no profit margin left on something.
Sometimes Amazon will have the wrong weight in their system, and if that's the case, you can get it corrected.
So what is the total, more or less, average after FBA fees and weight and shipping and all that? Is it closer to 30? It's supposed to be like 33%, right?
In the long run, I found it to be 25 or 30%. That's just a rough guesstimate. But the cheaper the product, the higher the percentage.
So there is cases where there's a base fee and it may be more than just that, 12% or whatever.
Exactly. If you a lot of items, if you sell them for $4 FBA, that's like the point where you actually lose money.
Gotcha. What about the first part of my question, part A?
Oh, the sourcing of inventory. Yes, to get to that. I've encountered that myself. Like, for example, when I first moved here, I've been here for a month or so, and I went down sourcing in Milwaukee because my mother she still works for a company in Wisconsin, even though she lives in Alaska. She was there for a week and a half. I drove down there, sourced for a day, picked her up, then we came back to my place in northern Wisconsin. And I went to Milwaukee, and I found hardly anything. But it was that day that I learned that then I was just really focusing on toys and video games. I thought that when I moved to Wisconsin, it would, given the fact that there'd be more stores and the shipping would be low, that it would be a magical mecca where just inventory falls from the sky. And to Milwaukee, I found that really not to be the case. Because first of all, there's a lot of people that are buying stuff, so I got my start, like with video games in stores, I'd be looking for discontinued games that have gone up in price. And those just don't exist when you're in Milwaukee, in these big cities where they've already been bought out. I spent like $100 that day, and the majority of it was at Dollar Tree. And I realized that also toys at Walmart, it's just not an effective use of my time. But I discovered that day that I need to focus on other categories. And I'm ungated in all the categories except for the invoice ones, DVDs, health and personal care, beauty, and grocery. But I'm ungated in things like clothing, where that day where I said I was kind of scared, I've spent over $100 on all these t-shirts, and I didn't know what I was doing. Or another time where there was a bunch of golf balls at Walmart that weren't there. And none of them had ranks showing up, but I was able to see that they all had a review within at least the last week. I bought like 9 boxes and they all sold in a week. I found that the more boring a product is, the less likely it seems that there's going to be competition. I've been buying a bunch of things, just seeking clearance with Walmart. I've been buying a lot of garden, kitchen, automotive, just random household stuff that is really, really boring. And some of it can have crazy returns. I got a bunch of air and oil filters, mostly the Fram brand, for $1 each, that are selling for between like $8 and $15. It's super boring, and some of these items only have like 4 or 5 other sellers, and I'm the only FBA seller. Or buying lawn and auto chemicals. Most lawn chemicals won't be hazmat, but with the auto chemicals, you have to make sure that it's not like, if you're on the seller app, I'm not sure if I can actually show it here, if it will show up. See if my phone can, okay, so my phone can be shown. So if I'm on the seller app, it's not, it's forced closed on me. Let's see if I can, okay, I'm back in. Go to home. I'm just going to type in motor oil, because I know that is going to be, here we go. We have some motor oil. And the FBA, what? I thought motor oil couldn't be FBA'd. No, I guess Amazon is on some of these listings. But if it doesn't really want to show up, but right here, there's going to be like a reddish circle thing that if you can't FBA it, there'll be a circle, like a red circle symbol there. I don't remember exactly what it looks like. But, and I found it was just random things. Mostly chemicals. I heard some light bulbs will get it. I tried scanning some matches and they got it. But there's a lot of stuff that can be FBA'd. A lot of boring things.
Also, start a new listing, or?
I've never created a listing before.
You always piggyback on ones that...
Yeah, I've always piggybacked on existing listings. I mean, just recently I've got into these things. Because coming from Alaska up there, I didn't get to partner shipping rates. So I'd ship books via medium mail, and everything else I would use large flat rate boxes for. So items had to be small. So I mostly did video games from Alaska. Video games, small electronics items, things like iPods and small toys. But here, in the lower 48, we are blessed with the Amazon partner shipping. So the shipping can be crazy cheap. And where it makes sense to be able to ship big things. Like I shipped 5 Guitar Hero sets, like back from the PS3, where it's the game and the guitar. I shipped them in this massive box, and I spent like $13. Where I couldn't even, from Alaska, I couldn't even ship one large flat rate box for that much. And I was able to ship 5 Guitar Hero sets for that much.
Well, I won't hog the floor, but my last question is do you do any online arbitrage? And if so, what is the percentage ratio versus the retail?
Right now, I'm doing more retail than online, but from Alaska, with the exception of stuff in Q4, about 95% of my products, with the exception of books, came from OA.
Nice.
I am a big fan of eBay because there are new things being added by the second. Even with OA X-Ray, it doesn't become saturated. Like, I've heard some stores, like the Disney store, which I've never been on the Disney store. I've heard that, or ThinkGeek, people will say that the prices completely crash. And that is very well possible. But even with items that had been on the site for a while, 2 months ago, I did an experiment with eBay where I found 10 things that were profitable that had more than one thing. And I wanted to see how long they'd stay up. After a month, 6 of them are gone. After 2 months, 8 of them are gone. But one of the remaining things was an item with a PSP game selling for $40 that had been listed since December. There were 8 copies, and since then only 1 had sold. But if you send them into FBA today, you could sell them for $80. Or if you wait a little while, because there are only 3 new sellers with a combined total of 7 copies. You could sell it for a crazy amount of money. And the listing has been on since December. So even, because like on eBay right now, there's about 250,000 brand new listings for video game products. Even with OA X-Ray, you can only search 200 things at a time.
I think
so
we need to have a research because, you know, I got a call from Amazon today, and I talked to one of the reps over there, and I said, you know, it seems like the raising of the fees, what it's doing is it's sort of weeding out the small people to be able to compete at the higher levels.
Mm-hmm.
So the wholesalers, the ones that are getting the product for $1 from the manufacturer, are winning out the sales every time because they can get it much cheaper. And so what that's doing is weeding out the small guy and making it so that the big dogs are taking the field. But like you said, there's still a market in the little odds and end things that they will never play with. So, but it does narrow it down a little bit though to make it a little bit tougher. You know, I got some frozen groceries, and I went out and tried to find something that I could put up there, and I must have scanned 100 things before I found one thing that was even worth consideration. So.
Yeah, today I was scanning, I went to Walmart because I was kind of bored, and I was just scanning random things, like with lawn and auto chemicals. And I didn't find any that were worth like buying as a lead plan, but the other day when I was in Woodbury, Minnesota, I found some auto chemicals that even for the normal price I would have been willing to buy. Because one of them was ranked like 15K in auto, and the normal price was like $5. They were clearance down to $3, and I bought them all. But I'd be buying them all for $5 even, and replanting them with that. But I didn't unfortunately see them here at the Eau Claire Walmart. But I'm looking at the chat, and Andy is asking what's our strategy with Amazon raising the free shipping from 35 to 49. And I really haven't any. Before, $35 seemed to be a magic price point, but I really don't have anything right now around the $50 price point, so I really can't tell about that. But I don't have the things at the $35 price point flying off the shelf anymore. The thing that has changed, though, that wasn't, or I think they just introduced at the same time, was the $25 minimum for free shipping with books. And I've noticed that if you price books between $25 and $30, you can get sales. It doesn't matter if they're used or new, you'll get sales with both. There's a book ranked around 5K that I gotten 40 copies of from a liquidator that sells on eBay. And there were merchant fulfilled people selling for $9 plus shipping. And I was getting a couple sales a day at $25. And I'm like, hey, I'll try raising it to 30. And I still got a couple sales a day at $30. There were merchant fulfilled people for $9, $10, $11. There was me at 30, and then Amazon was at 50, and I was getting a couple sales a day. So with books, if you price between $25 and $30 with FBA, you can do really well. You can even make money. Right now, there's a whole TA extra arbitrage thing with the gift cards. But you can also make money just buying from the merchant fulfilled sellers, and then sending an FBA. Like there will be books they'll buy for $2, but the used box plus shipping, but the used buy box will be $20 or $25. I can send it in and sell it for $20 or $25. And with a buy cost of $6, it's mostly something with textbooks, and I only do it with the really high, only with the really good ranking items. But it's just something I started doing last month, and it's working well right now. But I can't even imagine how awesome it's going to be come August and July. Vicky, anyone do subscription to Amazon? I'm not quite sure what that is, but does anyone else have any questions? Anyone want me to? Does anyone want to get unmuted?
I believe that the question she's asking is the subscription-based items instead of buying a one-time.
Oh, the subscribe and save.
I believe that's what she's saying. Yeah.
Does Amazon allow sellers to offer that?
I guess he was just asking if anyone here is actually doing that, subscribing versus one-time purchasing items.
I consider doing some of the shampoo, but I decided not just to buy whenever I need it. But I buy my shampoo on Amazon. So that's really the only consumable thing I'm currently buying on Amazon. But I know a lot of people that are just using Amazon for groceries and for like toothpaste and all this just the random stuff that people do. And that's like why I was trying to scan the chemicals at Walmart, is because those are things that people consume. Unlike, let's say someone buys a set of pans. Those pans aren't gonna, need to be replaced in 3 months. But someone's shampoo or their whatever they put in their car is going to need to be replaced, and that's why I like items like that, rather than things that should work for a year or a couple of years or a long time. It's all about sourcing items that either break or need to be replaced. All right, checking the chat. Leanne, you're talking about accounting and taxes. Well, I can kind of speak about that as of the fact that I signed up foolishly for 1-800-accountant.com. Whatever you folks do not sign up with those bastards. They, the guy that got me to sign up with them, told me some accounting. He gave me some really, really bad accounting advice. Turns out the guy wasn't even an accountant. He was just a salesman. And then he said that if they don't hear from you within 45 for 45 days at a time or anything, they'll call on you to check up on you. That never happened. They really don't care about you. All they want to do is get you to sign up for the year and pay them $1,500, and then and then if you try to get a refund, they'll be like, sorry, it's been longer than 30 days. Fortunately, I paid with American Express, and American Express was able to give me my money back. Go with American Express. They're really, really nice folks. You speak with a person in the United States when you call them for customer service. The second call that I made, the first time I called them, I accidentally called the Canada phone number, so I got some lady in Quebec that was speaking French. But the lady was really, really nice on the phone. But back to the accounting, go with a local CPA. Make sure, if I were you, what I've been doing is I haven't found one locally yet. What I need to do is ask around. If you know other people that own small businesses, see who they use. See if you can get referred rather than just not looking at the yellow pages or just randomly calling. Because I know someone that I know, a friend of mine from Pennsylvania, posted in, I think, Scan Power about how the accountant that he used for 2014 did a bunch of stuff wrong and completely effed up. And he got a letter from the IRS saying that he owed $7,000 plus penalties, all due to him having a really, really crappy accountant. So when you go with an accountant, go with someone that other people recommend. That'll give you a lot of peace of mind so you can focus on actually running your business. If you're not very good with bookkeeping, you don't need a CPA to do that. You can get a bookkeeper for $15, $20, $25 an hour so that you can have peace of mind with that. Bookkeeping isn't $100 an hour like an accountant is, so you shouldn't be paying that. But ultimately, outsource as much stuff as you can so that you have more time to focus on the business. One thing that I had struggled with was all the time that it took me to spending on prepping, the polybagging and the bubble wrapping and the shipping and all that sort of stuff. And what I did this week is, for the first time, I hired help. I found someone recommended to me by my friend. I called my friend's mom. She's a really nice lady. Hey, I need help I need someone to host it for me, and I need help with shipping. And she recommended her son's friend he's a really nice guy and is actually has a master's in international business and is just currently out of work. And so I'm paying him $10 an hour, and he's packaging. He's helping me with the prepping and shipping, and he'll be house sitting for me. So I have the peace of mind that because I met the guy, he's really, really nice and trustworthy. And so while I'm in Denver, I can, sleep peacefully knowing that my packages are being received and not being left out in the rain. And I have more time to focus on actually sourcing products rather than shipping them. Because we were able to I was able to have him bubble wrap like 140 light bulbs and other things that need to be bubble wrapped, and sticker over 500 things and get everything shipped out, all in less than 8 hours. And I only assisted with a little at the very end. So I got more done than I've ever gotten done in a day. So if you can outsource things, it will definitely free up more time for other things. If you're working a full-time job, if you can outsource your packing, it'll give you more time to spend with your family. Anyone have any questions? Anyone want to be unmuted? Anyone? We've only been doing this for 36 minutes. We can go for a long time if you folks want to. Anyone? Oh, your brain is fried, Vicky. That's how I felt last week. I just had to take 2 days off. If I hadn't taken those 2 days off, I don't know what the condition that I would be in right now would have been really, really bad. Because after working 70 hours and then working 8 hours yesterday and the massive full van haul on Sunday, I'd be a complete wreck right now if I had been working all the time.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been selling on Amazon since I was 18. When I turned 18, my parents were like, well, you're 18, so you get a smartphone now. That's the way my family works. When you turn 15, you get a phone. For me, it was one of those sliding phones. And when you turn 18, you get a smartphone. And I was really happy with the smartphone. They said you just have to pay for the data plan. But I was happy not so that I could be on Facebook or send picture messages with friends and things like that. But I was happy that I could actually scan products because it was something that I really wanted. I wanted to sell on Amazon just for the fun of it. And so I started with books and things like that. And then a few months later, in November, I left my job at Valley Village because it was Q4 and I did awesome with Black Friday. And I thought that it would be awesome for forever. Come January, I realized I had to hustle harder, and then the year after that, I got into FBA, and then with FBA, things just really, really took off. So I've been doing this since 2000. I opened my selling account in 2011, and I've been selling full time since the end of 2012.
Oh, so you are doing this full time?
I'm doing it full time. That's
You're
why
doing RA full time?
Well, right now, I'm probably spending 15, 20 hours with RA, 15, 20 hours a week with OA, probably another 15, 20 hours a week with Facebook. And before I didn't have all that time.
Marketing with the Facebook stuff, or?
A lot of group stuff, making content, doing things like this, producing videos that can be aired at a later time. For some. Well, most of the videos that I do aren't live like this. Like I'm making content for them to make green groups and contributing to those. And then I also have my video games group that I contribute content to. I make Gumroad things for that. All the Gumroad stuff is free.
Looks like Vicky has a question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm that Tyler Leanne. So having an accountability coach, that's a wonderful way to do things. I'm not in any mastermind groups, but what some people are doing I saw that Beaver made a thing with 20 people. I joined and I realized, hey, I love this concept of accountability, but I don't have the time to do this every single day. But what people are doing every single day there is posting their buy cost, their projected sell cost, and also their sales. And yeah, or if you just create a group where people are honest with people, or just, you know, a couple of people that you can message and are honest with. Andy, besides writing goals and tasks down, do I have any other methods to helping fight procrastination? One thing that helps me fight procrastination is the desire to be not starved and to pay my rent, given that this is how I make my living. But that isn't the motivation for most people. Although a lot of people I know, like you said, Randy, you want to do this full time. That for you would be motivation not to procrastinate, would it not?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. The ability to be self-employed and to make your own schedule is a powerful motivator for things. I could not imagine going to a 9 to 5. Well, I've never worked a 9 to 5. I've worked a few part-time gigs, but not even they were 9 to 5 at all. I like the freedom, both with time and money, that FBA provides. And that's why I don't like to procrastinate, because when I procrastinate on getting things shipped, I don't get money. And money is kind of necessary to pay the bills around here. Going to the chat. But yeah, if you folks can create groups, like it can be like 4 or 5 or 10 people. You don't have to be in the same state or selling the same things. I mean, you could be a TL person talking with RA and OA folks or vice versa or whatnot. It doesn't really, you don't have to be the same to be accountable to each other. And actually being being with people that are diverse is what really helps. Like I have some people that were like-minded when it comes to video games, but are way different when it comes to other things. Like the guy I know that does a crazy amount of eBay, or my friend that does web development. He only does FBA very, very part-time. I mean, he's doing it from New Zealand. But what he's done some stuff for me in exchange. Like he made this little button. Well, he made it with eBay. There's an extension that is supposed to go to the next page when you hit the right arrow, but it doesn't always work. So he made a little bookmark applet or something. I don't know what it is. And I press it. I have it titled the awesome button. I press it, and it goes to the next page every single time. And he's helped me with that, and I helped him with product advice. Or I'm not engaged in health and personal care, but I found these Nicorette things for $15 that sell for $50 at Walmart. And I basically messaged him, hey, can you sell these? He's like, yeah. I'm like, awesome. I'm buying them at $15. Send me the labels, and I'll get them sent to FBA for you. So even if you aren't engaged in the category, if you find something that's too good to pass up, make arrangements with someone else so that you can help them out and get like a finder's fee or whatnot. There's this item that I discovered at a gas station, like while getting an oil change of all places, outside of a supermarket, and a 12-pack of it inside sold for they sold for 79 cents an item, and a 12-pack sold for $47. So, and I don't think they sell anymore. I got 3 of them sent to the FBA for a friend, and we're splitting it 60-40. But I need to go back and ask, hey, do you have any more of these? Because I'll buy a whole pallet of them. But yeah, if you find something that you can't sell yourself, partner up with someone and split the profit. Leanne asks, when you're sourcing products you don't know a lot of, such as video games, what kind of research do I do? Do I look at other retailers? One thing that I've done is here in western Wisconsin, I moved here with this phone, and it has AT&T. But I found that outside of Eau Claire, the city that I'm in, the cell reception is horrible. So what I did at the beginning of this month was I bought a second cell phone, a cell phone identical to this Samsung Galaxy phone, and I signed up with Verizon. Hadn't planned on it, but I was talked into getting a tablet because I was able to get this tablet with an MSRP of $350, priced at priced at $200 with a $120 rebate. And for $10 more, I could have that use the same data, be on the same data plan as the phone, and it paid for itself the first day I used it. It was that day where I bought all the automotive oil and air filters, which was at a Walmart where this phone didn't have good reception, and I'd become engaged in the category last year, but I never knew that I'd actually use it. And so I was able to look up on FBA Toolkit what the ranks meant, because I had no way of deciphering the ranks. So I was able to say that, hey, 60,000 sells this many a day or whatnot, or 300,000 sells once every X number of days, and I was able to make buying decisions using that. So if you're out doing RA with a tablet, you can do pretty much anything that you can do on a PC. So that I'd really recommend, if you're going to be serious about your RA, I recommend that you get a tablet with a data plan. And so with that, you can do your due diligence. You can check Keepa. You can check Camel. You can use all the resources that you could do from your desktop, but in the middle of the aisle at Walmart. And that's how I do my due diligence. But if you're talking about things like video games, with video games, just take a look at the rank and maybe pull up Camel to see the rank history. With video games, unless it's really well ranked, you can see the spikes every time there's a sale, and it's really easy to decipher, at least with video games. But and once you learn with video games, FBA Toolkit also works really well. It'll tell you that 5K sells once a day or so or whatnot. I'm not sure what it's currently doing, but. And what scanning app do I use? Well, Stephanie, you brought it up privately, but it's something to bring up publicly. For a scanning app, I normally use just the normal Amazon seller app. But if you're scanning things like clothing or shoes, which I haven't sold any shoes yet, but I've been selling some clothing. If you scan clothing or shoes with the Amazon seller app, it'll tell you if there are reviews, but it will not tell you the rank. Well, what you can do right now is Scan Power, at least the scanning part of it, is now completely free. If you download that, you can scan clothing and it will tell you the rank. So I use Scan Power now just whenever I'm dealing with clothing. But there are other apps out there. But I just like the look of the information that the Amazon seller app provides. It tells you if it's restricted or not. It tells you if you can send it if it's hazmat or not. It tells you if there's any prep required. And it's just really, really nice. If I'm dealing with things that I can't scan in UPC, I'll use Flow in the normal Amazon selling app. But the one problem with the Amazon, with the normal buying app right now, is in certain categories and with certain items, it won't tell you the rank, even when a rank exists. Last time I checked, it doesn't have the rank for books anymore. So if I'm in Dollar Tree and they have the generic UPC over all of the books, I unfortunately can't use Flow. So what I'll do is I'll look up the book manually with my tablet, which is quicker than searching in the seller app. And I'll look at it from the perspective of a buyer where it does show the rank on the normal page. But yeah, there are a lot of tools out there that can help you make decisions. Get a tablet, and if you deal with poor cell reception when you're scouting, just get a second cell phone with another provider that's better for your area. Does anyone else want to be unmuted? Anyone have any more questions? We don't, unfortunately, have a lot of people here. So, what's the biggest roadblock to get started? With a lot of people, I didn't have this roadblock because I got started in Alaska. I did it as an individual until 2015, when in 2015 I had a sole proprietorship, and then here in Wisconsin I have a limited liability corporation. But that is probably a big thing that with people getting started is incorporation. I'm not going to give any tax advice on how to do it. But I was reading an article that said 50% of which I didn't even know about this at the time, but apparently 50% of startups register as a corporation in the state of Delaware due to the lack of business and tax structure there. But I personally am in the state of Wisconsin. But what? Can I say something, or is that just background noise? Oh, fear. Phil. Yeah, you said that privately, but yeah, fear is definitely a big roadblock. But just like with the doubt, if you're scared about something, reach out to other people. If you're in the FBA community, if you reach out to someone, they'll likely help you out. I mean, if you guys have any questions, if you're scared about anything, if you have any fear or doubt, feel free to reach out to me. You can message me on Facebook, and I'm usually pretty quick to respond to it, unless I'm sleeping or on the phone with my mother. And that's only if I'm not by my computer. I'll sometimes multitask. But find people that you can reach out to, people that you can be real with, and that'll help with the fear and the doubt. But a little bit of fear is okay. But if it gets to a level that's crippling, it's not very good. But yeah, other roadblocks that people have getting started is just being overwhelmed with information. If any of you folks that are on this or are watching the replay are new, FBA Master, if you go to the website, there is a bunch of resources for people that are new. Things on guidelines and lingo. I'm gonna pull up the FBA Master website just to take a look, because I haven't looked at the specific things in a while. I've just been so busy. But yeah, there's somewhere for if you're new, you put new, start here. I'm going to share my screen. So here, if you're new, you can start here. For the basics, there's the Amazon agreement, gated categories, fees and pricing, lingo, frequently asked questions. There's a knowledge center with a bunch of things. There's the stuff here. Just for you can, if you like Chris, you can look at his stuff. Like John, if you like Mike, and target board members. I didn't know there was a forum. Huh. Although it's not very fresh. I think Facebook is better for that. But and there's a bunch of resources too on the site. These can help a lot of people out. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here. That if you're having any problems getting started, the answer probably is here. And if the answer, how do I stop sharing? Stop sharing. And if the answer isn't there, bring it up on the Facebook group. You'll get your question answered usually within an hour or so. People are quick to respond because we have 12,000 people or something like that in the group. So, does anyone else have any questions, any comments, concerns? Want to be unmuted? Definitely. You're wondering what's the best way to get started if you have a limited time. You're saying that you went out and did retail arbitrage, by the time you got to Amazon, you're breaking even or in the red. The thing with that is, if it's at Walmart, they're what, like 10,000 or something, Walmart's in the United States. It's a crazy number. I actually want to search that. How many Walmarts are in the U.S.? So, dealing with major retailers, if it's at one store, okay, there's about 5,000 stores. So if it's at one store, it's likely at 5,000 stores. It's not likely going to be at every single store if it's a clearance item or whatnot, but you're not the only person that's going to be seeing it. If you want to protect yourself from being in the red or breaking even, what you can do is source products with a higher return on investment, so there's more room for it to go down. Instead of just focusing on things where it's 50% return on investment, you could focus on stuff that's 80% or 100%. I went 40% today on something that was super, super boring, and that's another thing, is focus on the boring stuff. Everyone goes and scans the toy clearance and electronics clearance. That's the sexy stuff that everyone likes. But focus on the boring stuff. Focus on stuff that's not in the clearance aisle. Focus on stuff that's in the aisles themselves that's on clearance, or on the back end caps, or ask the managers if they have any clearance that isn't prominently displayed. While I was at Woodbury, the managers were there. We'd been talking. We had come to the agreement that I could get 25% off everything that was at least $5 and on clearance. And I just asked him, what else do you have on clearance? So, like, we have the clearance section up front. We have this mossy-up clothing. We have these knives. Oh, we have these light bulbs over here on the bottom two shelves of the back end cap that aren't advertised as clearance. The assistant manager was like, yeah, I just put those on clearance 2 days ago for $1, and I've just been too lazy to put a sign out. I'm like, okay. I went and scanned them. They're ranked 5K in home improvement, and they're $1 selling for $11. I'm like, awesome. I'll buy them all. He was like, well, can you save one for me? These fit in my house, and I want them. I'm like, sure, I'll save you two. But yeah, just ask if they have anything else. Because, I mean, if I hadn't asked, I wouldn't have known about those light bulbs. I wouldn't have gotten like 120 of them. Or what? It was a lot. It was almost 2 carts full of light bulbs for $1 a piece, and they're going to be flying off the Amazon shelves. Another way to deal with stuff, Stephanie, is to source at places other than Walmart and Target, where the same thing. Or in many cases, like if you go to Target, it seems like clearance is completely nationwide. There were video games that went on clearance in the middle of December, and the price took a crap in the middle of December just because so many were brought in. For example, NCAA football 14 for the PS3 can now be found for $41 for the PS3. They went on clearance for $15, and they seem to have a bajillion PS3 copies and no Xbox 360 copies. But you can find it with an Xbox 360 copy. Last I checked, the buy box is $120, and they're over 1,000 copies of that game of FBA right now. So if it goes on sale or clearance at Target, either be the first to get it there and sell right away, price to sell, or be willing to wait for the price to go up, which the price will go up on things that go on clearance at Target. Like copies of the Michael Jackson Experience to the Wii, they were $45. They got clearance at Walmart. Target had them for $15 on clearance, and the price hit $20. When the price hit $20, I was buying the copies at $20, knowing that the price was going to go back up. And then by November, the price was back up to like $40. And right now, the buy box is sitting around $52. So just because something goes on clearance at Target doesn't mean that it will permanently tank. Or if you want to source things that other people want, try eBay. Like I was talking about before, certain things there might be only a couple sellers selling at a price that you can flip it for and make a profit. So you buy from all those sellers. You're not going to have any new competition. And you're asking what are some of the conferences you can recommend for newbies? I'm going to actually be going to a conference for the first time here in Denver in 2 days. I am super stoked for it, getting to meet a bunch of new people and being able to meet people in person that I've been talking with on the internet for a long time. But I don't know if I can recommend if any one conference is better than another conference for folks that are relatively new. If you're relatively new, I'm sure the Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference would be wonderful to go to. There's going to be there's going to be a day on arbitrage and a day on private label. Even though I don't do private label at all, I think I'm going to get more out of that day. because just hearing things from a different perspective may help me with what I'm doing currently with RA and OA. Although if I do decide to go into private label, because I have a few ideas that I've been bouncing around in my head, going to the conference and learning about it from these master private labelers, people like Andy Flannery, I'm really anxious to learn. But I don't know if any conference is better than another. Mark L. from the PM saying that Midwest Econ is good. Well, I can say it's good just because I've already bought tickets for it. I live an hour away from the Twin Cities, so the only reason I'm going to be staying in a hotel overnight is because I want to see what beer they have there in Minnesota. But and Christine said he owes me the first round is on him. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Midwest Econ. I'm looking forward to Denver. I'll probably be going to that ADS trade show in Vegas. I'll probably be going to ScanPower because my brother and sister will be going to college in Utah and Florida respectively. So I could swing through Utah on the way down to Vegas if I drive. Visit my sister in Florida and go to ScanPower. But I'm really looking forward to all these conferences. And if any of you are going, I would love to see you there. There's going to be some mad karaoke in Denver on Thursday night. And someone is bringing Cards Against Humanity, so that'll be fun. Leanne, has any of the negative talk about sourcing with RA and OA bothered me? Well, I've been around with the FBA Facebook community for a while. It takes a lot to bother me, but I get kind of annoyed with things. Like everyone's like, oh, I bought this, and I'm not sure who was earlier that. So Stephanie said something about them going down in price. But when I hear of people saying that the sky is falling and that it's the end of arbitrage as we know it because something tanked because it was on clearance at Walmart, it just gets a little annoying after a while. But it takes a lot to bother me here. Okay, move to the chat. Yeah, it's not the right channel to source. Nothing is the right channel for anyone, it seems, these days. People hate on me for me buying on eBay. How can you prove it's authentic? I can't. Well, at least not in some cases, but I take a look at it. I know it's legit. Or people from eBay. Oh, all the eBay sellers are horrible. It's never nice. It's never as you described. But I see people buying from Amazon, merchant fulfilled sellers, and having the exact same problem. There's a lot of whining and complaining in the FBA community, and it's honestly pretty silly. Which, a note of the whole mental aspect of this, whining and complaining doesn't accomplish anything. It's one thing to vent, but I try not to vent in a big group. If I'm going to vent, it's either going to be a smaller group or on my personal profile. Mark's wondering if I've tried merch. I've been approved since January, but I haven't uploaded any designs yet. I have a friend right now that's currently working on a design for Video Games FBA, the group I'm on, because I want to sell a shirt with that. Honestly, it would be cool to have a shirt that says it. He's been working on a design. And I'm bartering with him. I'll give him a free shirt for the design. And there's a couple other things that he's working on that I'm bartering with him for, just some text designs. But I've only come up with a couple things myself. But I have a friend that does graphic design here locally, and I need to get her to work on them. But that's another thing. On the other side of this paper that I had notes on, I wrote a shirt design that I got while watching a little clip from Comedy Central. They were talking about Sikhs being mistaken as Muslims, and a Sikh man is saying you need to lead with love. So I wrote that down so I don't forget it, and maybe I can make a shirt out of it. So if you have, especially with t-shirt designs and merch and just those brilliant light bulb ideas, if you don't write it down, you might forget. And it's something that I've done. Like, it's something I've had a problem with since I was a kid. I'll have an awesome idea. Like back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a rapper, and I thought of this really good rap song, and I didn't write it down. But of course, I'm not a rapper today, and I'm not. That'd be really silly. Oh, Stephanie, you were just approved for merch today. Congratulations. Yeah, you're finding ideas all over the place, and that's what I've been finding ideas. I found someone, I posted something in a comment on Facebook the other day, and one of my friends messaged me. He's like, you should make a merch shirt out of that. And so, just from something I said, and I came up with this really cool idea, and I would say it here, except there's going to be a replay, and I don't want someone stealing it, because it's going to be an awesome shirt. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to doing merch. I've come up with a couple ideas for how to market them, things I've written down, so I don't forget them. Otherwise, I will. And it just has a lot of potential. And given that the name is Merch by Amazon and not Shirt by Amazon, it'd be really cool if they could come up with other things like coffee mugs and bumper stickers and posters. So it would be more like a virtual merch table, like what you see if you go to a concert. Andy's wondering what is merch. Andy, it's okay that you're new with this. Merch by Amazon is currently a platform where people, once you get approved, can upload T-shirt designs, and then Amazon prints the shirts on demand. So I'm really hoping that they can expand from just T-shirts. If they have bumper stickers, I have a bunch of ideas. No one for president, or something like that. Or I just want to get an FBA bumper sticker. That would be cool. I do FBA. And most people wouldn't recognize it. It'd be like an inside thing for us FBAers. So if someone pulls up to Walmart wanting to source it, they see mine, I do FBA. It would be like I mark my territory. But yeah, no, merch has a bunch of potential. Amazon takes like $11 per sale. So if you sell for $20, you make $9 a sale. But you can advertise and things like that. And so let's say you make $5 a shirt and you sell 2,000 shirts, that's $10,000. It's just something that I really need to take the time to get into and get my friend designing shirts for me. But it's just another way to add income to you. It's just another sales channel. Randy is wondering how hard it is to get into merch. It isn't exactly difficult per se, but back in November they gated it, and like the day or two after they gated it, I applied, and I randomly checked in January and found myself approved, so I really don't know how long it took, but I've heard of it taking people like as long as like 2 or 3 months to get approved. And when you get approved, you can upload like 25 designs. To be able to sell more, you have to be able to upload more. You have to sell shirts, and as you sell more and more, you tier up from 10 to like, I think 100 to like 500 designs or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how it works. But all it takes to get in is to apply. And apparently you're supposed to get an email when you're approved, but I searched my email, my inbox, and apparently it must be on the spam. But it's not difficult. It just takes time. You have to be patient. But in the meantime, what you could do while you wait to get into merch is you could take like a Udemy class on it. Chris Green has one. I paid like $9 for it. I've just been too busy to take it. It's apparently 8 hours worth of content. And what you could do is you could start making shirts so that when you do get approved into merch, you can have the design files, you can upload them, and you can hit the ground running. Leanne's asking, do I hit up garage sales and flea markets? I've never hit up a flea market, but I love garage sales. Randy, feel free to speak. Feel free.
I was just going to say, what if you want a really quality cotton shirt because you're wanting to brand a really nice shirt? Do you have to send the T-shirts into Amazon, or do they supply a line of shirts to select from as far as T-shirts?
I really don't know. I've logged into Merch once. I haven't tried uploading anything, so I don't know how that works. But they do everything. They print everything on demand.
So you don't need to send them anything but the design.
Yeah, all you do is you upload the digital file. It's completely digital. They've been printing stuff on demand for a long time. Like for a long time, they've been printing books, pressing CDs and DVDs on demand. It's just logical that they stepped it up to T-shirts. Yeah, I don't know. I bought 2 merch shirts. I bought the FBA Master one, and then one that I think was deleted, where it has a picture of Carl Wilkie, like a cartoon image of Carl Wilkie, and it says Carl Wilkie, the original Godfather. Where that one, some of the paint has come off a little bit, but the FBA Master one has held up pretty well. Maybe I'm just using the washing machine wrong. I don't know. I'm a 21-year-old guy, so that could be. I mean, I still put my rights in with everything else, but not the shirt white. The Carl Wilkie shirt is blue. I'll be bringing it to the Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference. Yeah, but overall the cotton is pretty soft that they use. I mean, it's not a crazy expensive cotton, but it's not super cheap cotton either.
I think I'm picturing it like your standard pink cotton T-shirt, and what I want is a higher end cotton. I'm wanting to put a nice product together.
That would be something to bring up in one of the merch groups. Chris Newman runs a merch group, and it has like 5,000 to 6,000 people
on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. I'm in it, but I really haven't taken the time to be in it. Although one person I know referred to it as the wine cellar, given that there seems to be a lot of whining in it. So yeah, that's another reason that I don't like to be around whining. It's not positive.
No, I hear you. That's what I've set myself out to do as well, because there's a lot of negativity. People want to bring you down. Oh, that's not going to work. You're going to lose tomorrow. It's like, come on, man. I'm going to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, people, they're like, you can't make money with FBA, and they're so negative. And then I show them that my car is paid off. I live alone in a really dope townhouse, and I can afford to drink Macallan 12. So, and you're still working at Safeway? Yeah, you'll encounter haters with FBA, but when they see the money, when they see the hustle, it's really hard for them to hate anymore. And a friend of mine that used to hate on it actually ended up working for me peeling stickers in Alaska. It was pretty funny. He peeled a lot of stickers. It was like from the day that I bought 300 something video games at Target. He peeled stickers. When friends and family when they see either the money you make, or the massive inventory, they usually stop hating pretty quick. My parents weren't always supportive of it, but when they understood that I wanted to move to back to Wisconsin, they were completely supportive of it. My dad flew down with me and helped me get moved in. I don't know. It would have gone horribly if I moved by myself. I'm 21 years old. I like to think that I know everything, but I realize that I don't know anything close to it. So he was able to help me with things like buying a bed skirt and
what's that?
Just household stuff. You need these pots and pans, and you need a cutting board, and you need some good knives. Just random stuff. Spend the $200 on this nice leather couch rather than the $40 couch that is likely infested with bed bugs. And so that's a really nice couch now.
Oh, the basic.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, one of the things I've learned over the last couple of years is to take advice from people, not always have it my way. And with FBA, if you hear someone saying, "Hey, don't do this," here's why. You should probably listen to them. But like today, I don't know what group it was, but a guy was bragging about how he got ungated in health and personal care with Photoshop invoices. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. And he lashed out, but I didn't report him to Amazon, but I'm guessing someone else did. So if you're gonna violate Amazon policy or do stuff that's illegal, don't brag about it on Facebook. Anyone else have anything? Any questions? Anyone want to be unmuted? We can have a discussion here. I realize there's not a whole lot of people to speak, but it's 10:15 Eastern time. That could contribute to it too. People, Chris is either sleeping or still working on that paper. Or should we end? Is anything else? How did I get to? Phil is wondering how I got started. Well, I got started back in the day when I had some video games that my mother didn't approve of. That's what got me selling on Amazon. I didn't sell the games. I kind of kept them secretly. This was back in the day. I mean, these were like even though it was the 360 era, these were like PS2 games. And I didn't sell them, but I ended up selling other stuff. And then when I turned 18, I'd sold a few things when I was 17. I got into selling them when I was 18 with the cell phone, and I really got my start with books. Because I worked at Value Village as their book sorter and pricer. And then I left Value Village at the end of November in 2012, so it wouldn't be a conflict of interest for me to buy books there. But Value Village slowly petered out. I don't know why, but the donations started to get kind of crappy when it came to sourcing. You said you missed most of the webinar, Phil. That is okay. That is perfectly fine. There is going to be a replay uploaded, assuming that we got the recording set up right. I'm checking out, and it says that we are recording. So I don't know if that's going to go to Chris, or it's going to download to my computer, and then I upload to Dropbox, and Chris downloads, and then he uploads to YouTube, and then he posts the link. I don't know how it's going to work, but it is recording. So you're going to be able to see it. Anyone else have anything? Anyone? Well, if we don't have anything else, I am going to end it. I'm glad that all of you were able to attend. It was fun, especially for those of you that had questions. I love dealing with questions and helping other people out, just because other people helped me get where I am today. But I like paying it forward with things like this. So, have a good night, everyone. If you're going to be in Denver, I will see you on Thursday or Friday. Have a good night, everyone. Bye. Yeah, I don't know if I need to figure out how to end it.